Some information that has not been exposed as of yet is that the fellow that was supplying our original porta potty, Mr. Leggett, had gotten fired from his position that he had held for over 12 years. The reason that he got fired is that Mr. Leggett's attorney had found out that he was letting us use the porta potty out of the kindness of his own heart, and subsequently it got him fired. Mr. Leggett was calling our newer porta potty supplier on a weekly basis and trying to find out if we had paid our bill or anything else, and tried to tell him to get rid of our porta potty also, so that we were not able to be here. At any rate, as it turns out, Mr. Leggett's attorney was also suing this individual that owned the porta potty business for something, and that's probably the only reason that he did not remove the second porta potty.
I just want to follow up and ask some additional questions about Colleen Romero. You said that this officer of Costilla County assaulted Penny, your wife. Yes, I just want to hear the circumstances that led to that one more time.
Okay, she came out here and told us that we had to remove things from our property, and said that everything that we own is junk and rubbish, including but not limited to the vehicle that I drove here and drove away with. At any rate, she gave Penny a violation and told her to sign it. She refused to let Penny sign the paper refused to let Penny read the paper before she signed. And my wife says, I do not sign anything without reading it first. At any rate, Romero kept telling Penny to just sign it, just sign it. You don't need to read it, it's none of your business. This is her signature on a piece of legal documentation that she needs to read. Well, Penny went to start writing Colleen Romero will not let me read this document on it, and at that point she reached down, and because my wife was kneeling on the ground, and she reached down, grabbed the pen, and hit my wife in the shoulder with her closed fist and the pen. And at that point I told my wife, just sign it, get these people out of here. And the whole time that she was being very unruly, she had her hand on her weapon, I imagine they probably gave it to her on the force or whatever the case may be, but the fact is that she had her hand on that gun the entire time. And I feel that that is a threatening manner, and to threaten by a peace officer is actually illegal. So, and she does this every time that she comes to visit. I've told Matthew Valdez and the entire police force, police, sheriff, whatever the case may be, that she is not allowed on my property any longer. I feel threatened by her, and she is not allowed out here. She has since returned 2 more times.
I think it's important for people observing this, even if they agreed with the decision to have someone evicted or to write someone a ticket, there's a legal way to do something with the court of law, and then there's like the Old West way of doing things, where you send out someone with a gun to threaten someone, which it sounds like this Colleen person's doing. Whereas in the city and other communities, if someone's being written a ticket, even if it's wrong, the person doesn't have a gun. They're just writing a ticket representing the state or the city. They're not coming out with a gun. So there's a whole different way, apparently, Costilla County chooses to deal with the public.
Yes, I agree with that. And also that original, it was just basically a 10-day warning. And we tried many different times, I mean like 2 or 3 times, for the, well, actually about 5 times within that first 10 days to get Matthew Valdez to come out and look at our property and see what we have done and cleaned up and the whole 9 yards there. But he refused to. He would not come out. So they ended up coming out and giving her an actual violation, refused to let her do what's written on the back of the document itself, the 10 days to alleviate the problem. We've tried on many, many occasions to alleviate the problem of not having a building permit. We've had money in hand, we've begged them, we've pleaded with them, they refuse to give us a building permit. And even before court, there's still an opportunity from the violation to the court time that they allow you to alleviate it. Matthew still wouldn't come out. We asked him at least 4 times a week, and even twice in writing, requesting very politely that he comes out and inspects our property. He refused to. And Edward Lobato is the county attorney, and he was extremely rude. He tells us that we cannot do what we want to do on our property. Just because we have a deed in hand does not mean you cannot do anything on your property. I believe that's entirely wrong. I tried to follow the laws and they refused to even allow me to do that. I've called everybody on the state level for the water, for the electricity. I know Jovi, the electrician, personally. I've never met Skinner myself, but I've spoken to him on the phone. We've talked about what the state requires for plumbing and sewage handling, and we went every avenue to try to stay within the law. But this whole situation is entirely spearheaded by this neighbor of mine who believes that you should have a 42-page rule book of things you cannot do. So I believe it's all wrong.
Any other names that we need to be looking at? So far we've been looking at Matthew Valdez. So far we've been looking at Colleen Romero. And we talked before about this Lobato. What more do we need to know about him and the other county commissioners?
The Lobato is the county attorney. I know for sure. I believe, I do not know for absolute that he is the mayor of San Luis.
When they made that phone call to see whether it was legal or not for them to film, do you think they were calling Lobato himself?
I guarantee it.
Okay. So we need to continue to look at the direction of Lobato, get whatever information we can.
Yes. And
obviously
Lobato's
people watching this are going to know something.
Lobato's wife is a county assessor.
That's what I've been told, and that's significant.
And, you know, that's this whole entire county is literally run by family members. Every last one of them are related, if it's distant or if it's next of kin. The fact is that they are all related.
There's someone that grew up in San Luis that's been gone a few years, but she's observing this from a distance back east, and she said there was a major investigation of some type of the town of San Luis a couple years ago. So she said, observing this, she thought it was odd they were doing this because they're really vulnerable to being exposed, again, for things people already know that we have yet to find out and share with the people on YouTube. But apparently there's already a bunch of stuff that's already been let out of the bag.
Well, there's a lot of stuff. This county has been running it corruptly and taking payoffs from whoever has the money to do so and doing what they like. Okay, this has been a pretty lax county until now, and literally this whole deal is come about because of our case. I mean, it cost my neighbor thousands and thousands of dollars. The last figure that they submitted was over $17,000. Okay, just to sue us and get nothing. What is he going to get? He's going to try to get my land, and I believe that he has made a deal with Lobato and or Colleen Romero to do that. And why? Ask yourself why. The county attorney would be talking to somebody that has no interest in the county's objective to sue me, why would they be talking to this individual for several hours before the county has their day in court? Why? It makes no sense to me. Does it to you folks? Because as far as I'm concerned, that just proves that Tim Leggett is telling Lobato what to do and how to do it.